So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Eazy Conversations. Thanks a lot to everyone who listened to the last episode featuring the homie Matt and I. Hope you enjoyed listening to us do our Harry Potter and horror movie trivia. Thanks a lot to everybody who played along at the same time, sent in their live responses to the questions. Great difficulty on those questions, Matt. It's actually gotten me back to. I'm rereading the Harry Potter books as we
Oh, no
speak
way.
in French. I'm up to Order of the Phoenix already. I've just been inhaling those novels. They're very fun to read and get back into, so hopefully something that others get into as well. So now for episode 155 of Eazy Conversations, I'm extremely excited, of course, to be back in the studio virtually with the homie Matt. So what's up, the people?
What is going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day right now. It's honestly the perfect day for a podcast, Eric. It's raining outside. I had so much fun on the last episode doing the trivia. Today we have another like fun exercise-ish podcast where we have to do some work and do something fun for the people. Eric, why don't you let everyone know what we're going to be doing right now?
Yeah, so for this episode, we're going to do something that we have done in the past before, which is a tiering exercise of all of the Star Wars cinematic universe content. So, looking at the shows and the movies that have dropped across these, 50 some years at this point, almost, and basically ranking them in different tiers. So we got the S, A, B, C, D, E, F tiers. Around 24, 25 or so movies and shows that we're going to be ranking. And I do think this is an episode that would benefit from the visual format. So if you want to just hop over to YouTube, smash that like and subscribe button while you're at it. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, appreciate it. And then you can just visually follow along as we're moving these chess pieces across the board. So we're going to limit ourselves to 5 movies or TV shows per category so we don't clutter up the top tiers, for example, because I think, anyways, for me, I'm going to lean more towards highly ranking these shows and movies because Star Wars holds a place near and dear in my heart. I love
Mm-hmm.
most of these movies and shows, so definitely a bias there that I'm going to try to detach from as much as possible in doing this. And I'm looking forward to doing this with you, Matt, and see where the
Yeah.
chips land. Yeah, so I think the first one we're gonna start off with is the show that has only had one season so far, but its second season is dropping in a matter of weeks at this point. Andor, which is obviously one of the Disney Plus produced products in the Star Wars cinematic universe, dropped in 2022. I think was one of the biggest surprises in terms of critically
Oh, yeah.
acclaimed Star Wars content. I don't think many, if any, people expected it to be this good. There's a big fan base for the Rogue One movie, citing its kind of gritty nature, the visuals, the cause over the characters, narrative, some of the acting maybe. Me, it's a well documented tale that I wasn't that crazy about Rogue One the first time I saw it, but then with multiple viewings, I appreciate it more each
Mm,
time.
mm.
And yeah, maybe the fact that I went into Andor with kind of lower expectations made me enjoy it so much. But what are your thoughts on Andor, Matt? Where do you see this slotting, and how excited are you for season 2? We can also get into that.
Yeah, just quickly, the exercise we're doing tonight is like, or today for the pod, is one of my favorites. Like thing to watch on TikTok or Instagram on the reels, like people ranking stuff. I love watching those videos. So super excited to be doing this again, Eric. Um, Andor season 2 or Andor season 1. Okay, for season 2, this is what I'm expecting for Andor season 2. I loved Andor season 1. Season 2, I want more of a bridging the gap between Andor and basically leading up to Rogue One, where Cassian, the stakes are higher, and I don't know if it's a show that can continue that many seasons, maybe 2 or 3 seasons, but I just want like the stakes to get higher and the desperate, like the cause to be like amplified. Um, the spy, what makes Andor so great is the ground levelness of it, like showing everyone on a smaller scale. Like it's not about big heroes and villains like the Jedi and the Sith. It's about people doing the grunt work on the street, and that show had no business being that good, Eric. Like it took me a while to watch the show too, honestly,
Mhm.
because I didn't watch it right away. I kind of dismissed it. We all dismissed the show when they announced it, right? The
Yeah.
other show should have been better than Andor in terms of it has like the beloved characters in it. This doesn't have any characters that we know, but when it came out, it blew our socks off. Um, Before I rank it, do you want to talk about Andor season 2 briefly, or
Mhm.
do you want me to just rank Andor season 1?
I can give thoughts on season two, Andor. I think you're gonna be happy to hear that this is the last season of this show, also, and it's
Okay.
going to lead up quite literally directly into Rogue One. So it's
Mm.
gonna fully bridge that gap you were mentioning, and I believe the structure of the season is they're gonna release its episodes as 3 packs at a time, each 3 pack
Oh,
being a mini arc. And I believe in between each 3 pack, there's going to be a time jump of, I believe, at least 1 year, maybe two,
oh,
and then bringing us to Rogue One. That's the planned rollout. I might be off on a few details there, but that's the gist of it. And I think with each jump, we're going to get closer to that. If you'll recall, the first scene in Rogue One that involves Andor is he gets intelligence from a man who found out about the Death Star or something along those lines. And then, as this man is in a panic, Andor is seemingly calming him down and then guns him down in cold blood. So, we're kind of being
right.
introduced to this cold blooded, I will do what it takes to move the narrative along for the rebellion, even if that means murdering innocent fellow comrades. So, I think we're going to see Andor's character development really ramp up. And I do like, Musty, how in season one he is kind of reluctant to take those dark actions, whereas in this season I think he's gonna be more like the gritty Andor that we
Okay.
see in Rogue One. So I'm very excited for season two. Almost worried at how excited I am because I feel like
Mm.
now my expectations and bar is set high. As if you'll recall, Andor season one was my number one show of 2022. So I'm really excited for this, and for that reason, I think Andor is A, to be honest. Like, that's where I would rank it.
Mm.
I don't know about you, but that's my thought right now.
That's where I had it in my head, Eric. A.
Okay, right
It's
on.
definitely not S. S rank would be like if it passes the test of time, right? But Andor is the best show, the best Star Wars show that's come out, possibly the best show that's come out. It's fantastic. Like I said, it had no business being this good. And now the book's out on Andor, season 2 has a lot to fulfill. Has big shoes to fill. So pencil that in. Andor A rank.
Oh, it's on there. If you saw on the YouTube, it's the first one to drop. So, and we're gonna kind of alternate now. We're gonna rank these. So we're gonna go back in time, then Back to the Future, back and
Okay.
then back and forth, kind of like that. So I think this should be a pretty easy one to rank. Star Wars: A New Hope, the one that
Mm.
started it all. I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be in agreement here. It doesn't need to
Yeah.
really be lingered on here. I think this is S.
Yeah.
So my
It has
thoughts on.
the yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Eric.
No, go ahead, Matt.
I was just gonna say it's the most. To me, it's my favorite one. I've
Mm,
thought about this all day, Eric. Last night too at work. This is my favorite Star Wars movie. It has the most iconic moments. I was just thinking of this one shot the other day, like the shot where Obi-Wan meets Darth, like reunites with Darth Vader, and Darth Vader's just waiting for him with his lightsaber out,
mm.
and like no words are said. It's just like that exchange is bone-chillingly awesome, and the whole movie's iconic. Every scene, I love it, love it, love it. It's my
Mm-hmm.
favorite one.
Yeah, it's my number two for sure. And has last year when I rewatched all the Star Wars movies, and obviously I started with New Hope, I was kind of thinking like, is this now my favorite one? It's I go back and forth a bit, but then I watch Empire Strikes Back, and I'm
Mm.
reminded
Yeah.
of the things that I loved so much as a kid. Also, the Hoth opening scene, my boy gunning down the rebel base. Who can forget? Um, there's a lot to love in Empire, but A New Hope, like I said, gets better with time. You appreciate it more as an adult. Iconic lines. And the Han Solo,
Mm.
I kind of want to rewatch the VHS editions, to be honest. I'm not crazy about these digital remastering,
Yeah.
adding new characters. The Greedo shot first movement, like, no, in my books, it's a Han shot first. Cassian Andor-esque, or that's where he drew his inspiration from, I'll say. Yeah, I love that. And then even like that Elephant Man, I don't know what his deal is, what his name is even, but he just that that kind of gives the location up. Little things
Yeah.
like that. I'm just a big fan of. But yeah, New Hope S. Don't need to linger on it more than that. So there's some of these shows I think we're gonna skip over in that I haven't seen all of these, like Star Wars Resistance. I don't know if you've seen that, Matt, but the one, or Youngling Jedi's, I don't know what this is, but the next one I
No.
think we can go over, which I think you watched, or if not, I'll take this one on there. But Skeleton Crew. Did you get a chance to watch the show from last year / kind of this year?
Sadly, I did not. I have not finished the show yet, and I'm hoping you're gonna tell me right now, Eric, to finish it or
Okay.
watch it all.
So I would say watch it just
Or-
because like it's fun. You're in the world of Star
Okay.
Wars. It's definitely low stakes. This is definitely not classic Star Wars, which is why I'm leaning E at this time. Like at most D, but that's not necessarily a knock to Skeleton Crew. More so to it speaks to the catalog that we're looking at here.
Okay.
Right, so like I want to start off in E, and then if maybe
Okay.
there's room down the line, it could go up to D, but absolutely not higher than that. It's
Okay.
fine though. Like,
That's kind of the vibe. Yeah.
go ahead.
No, just that's kind of the vibe I got. I got like a heavy Goonies, Kids, Stranger Things vibe, like, and then I just never went back to it. Honestly, there's been a lot of heavy hitters for shows. I'm really into TV right now at the moment, and like, there's a lot of stuff I want to do above Skeleton Crew. We have so much limited time, Eric, with our free time, right? Like, I don't think I can justify watching Skeleton Crew right now with the list of shows I want to watch. So, but it's Star Wars. I gotta watch it to be a completist. So. I will eventually watch it all.
No, but you're right. Their shows are dropping at a Boldy James caliber out here in 2025, and one must prioritize the quality over the, I guess, the E-ranked Star Wars shows out here. Like, Jude Law is fine in the role. I wouldn't go as far as say that he's incredible. Not that crazy about his character, but he's definitely the driving force. Some of the kids I'm not too keen on, like Wim. I'm kind of a fan of the elephant kid. I don't remember his name, but he's kind of my guy. And then the KB. Anyway, yeah, E at most. D at most, but I think E is probably where it's going to settle down, to be honest. So, yeah, if you have an afternoon to kill on a rainy day when you have absolutely no other shows, like you've rewatched The Wire, even gone back to The Justified, well, then maybe throw this on, but I wouldn't prioritize this over any of the truly greatness out there. So now, again, back in time, we just talked about it. Empire Strikes Back, for me, S, no questions asked.
Oh,
Yeah. So, one of the best sci-fi movies of all time, one of the best sequels of all time. I, love the intro of the Boba Fett character. This is kind of slow right now. I don't know what's going on, but okay, there we go. Yeah, Cloud City, Lando. There's some iconic lines in there. I don't really have them off the top of my head, but yeah, Empire. It's just all time. I don't really know what else to say.
Like in New Hope, Eric, it's iconic, but also like arguably has like a better pace and better made. It's like a New Hope, but like they just upgraded it for the better. It's peak Star Wars in my opinion. Peak Darth Vader, Han Solo, all our beloved characters. Quick, like it's introduction to Yoda, which I think A New Hope to me has better pacing than Empire because of the going back and forth between Luke's scenes and Han and Leia's scenes, and A New Hope feels like it rips by. But Empire has like that ending with the I am your father reveal, like from Darth Vader, is legendary. Great lightsaber fight. I mean, I don't know. I saw it at the Mayfair Theater like 3 years ago. It blew my socks off. It is the best, objectively, like the best. Maybe like you can't argue that it's the best, right? Like that it isn't the best. Sorry, like it's amazing. It's S rank. It's above S rank. It's like in its own rank, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and S in this case is as high as it gets for us, and it's, I feel like, comfortably nestled there. Now we're gonna be really scraping the bottom of the barrel here and talking about a different quality of show in The Acolyte as our next product.
Mm, mm.
So, I mean, for me personally, if there's an F show, it's this. Like, I just want to throw it out there right now. I'm looking at the rest of the
Mm.
lineup here, and if we are to fill something up in F, it's this. I hated this show, and I truly feel bad for the hate that was received by the actors and actresses involved here. Do not think it was warranted, and I don't reciprocate those kind of thoughts whatsoever. I will say, I do think there was a lot of bad acting in this show, and
Yeah.
that's just objectively speaking, we weren't really getting powerful performances from our lead actress. I think when she was trying to convey emotion, it did not come across well. There's a big scene at the end of the show where she's force choking somebody. No, don't want to spoil for anyone who hasn't seen this masterpiece, but the the emotional beats coming across there were as wooden as, I don't really have an example here, but it's in a league of its own, let's say. Empire Strikes Back for different reasons, but the good thing that it had going for it was some cool lightsaber action. I'll definitely say that there were some really cool fights in there with the villain who I thought had his moments. I forget his name, but yeah, F in my books. What do you think, Matt? Is there a case to put this higher? Being too harsh?
There isn't, honestly, Eric, because if I'm thinking of every Star Wars show, this is at the bottom, and it's got to be F. At best, like, there's some moments where it could make it like a C or a D, but like those moments quickly disappear. Like after the first episode, I was like, okay, but then it got progressively worse, in my opinion, in terms of quality, and I was not impressed. Couple cool fights, like you said, very wooden acting. The actor from Squid Games, a Korean actor, learned English to star in the show, but like that's not the play. Like it shows. It was terrible, and he's a good actor, just not in English. So yeah, F. I'm very comfortable with it being F, Eric.
I absolutely hated the green woman as well, Vestra or something like that, with her. The whip lightsaber just looked so goofy, and I don't know if this was meant to be like this cool thing or had other implications in there as well, but it just did not land for me whatsoever. And honestly, my favorite character in the whole show is probably the Daphne Keene character. I forget her name as well, but she was awesome. Like, I feel like they did her a disservice by not keeping her around longer. There was that knob of a character as well. Now, I wish I had these characters' names in front of me there, but he was like a stickler for the rules.
Right.
Yeah, he was a plug, got his neck wrung real quick.
That
was fun. That was an entertaining scene. But anyways, I feel like we've dwelled enough on this, but I just had to let those thoughts unleash there. And yeah, I wasn't crazy about bringing in Plagueis as well. That was kind of a cheap trick. How is Yoda not aware, or how is the Jedi Council not aware of all this happening right underneath their nose? There's just a lot of stuff to easily pick apart, and yeah, I guess that's it for Acolyte for me. Any final notes, or want to move along?
No, let's move along. We can't remember the characters' names for a reason, Eric.
Good point. Yord is the guy that I hated. Anyway, so next up, Return of the Jedi. Now, being mindful of our 3 S spots coming up, what do you think for Return of the Jedi? For me, in my books, it's either S or A, but there's other stuff that I could see in there as well. So what do you think on Return of the Jedi?
Okay, I thought about, this is the one I was thinking about, like, before we recorded, because my heart is an S, but honestly, if I'm looking at it, like, unbiasedly, like, Return of the Jedi's A rank, just because it's not as good as New Hope and Empire, and it's got a lot of, not issues, but like it's not a perfect movie like the 4 and 5. We love it, Eric. Like, and it's S for us in our hearts. We can watch it anytime. We've seen it since we were super young, and like we've been watching it so many times. But like, it's A rank. Quality does dip. There's a lot of like conveniences, and story's not as tight. It's super entertaining though, but I'm thinking of other stuff coming up, and I honestly think this is A rank in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, maybe we'll when all the pieces are in place. Maybe it's a revisit and it does get bumped up. Maybe some people are
Okay.
screaming at the screen or their earphones right now, earbuds. But for me right now, I think A is a good spot. And to my point earlier, I think this one really benefits from the VHS only version because my mind harkens back to the Jabba's Palace 15-minute solo concert here. The that just drags on. Then that moron comes in like
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. And I'm sorry if
Terrible.
that made your ears bleed, but I just had to let that out. But yeah, no, that snip that completely.
Yeah.
There were some scenes in this that brings me back to as a kid. The scene with the Rancor, just could not watch it. It was always a fast forward. My parents would swoop in there, be like, "Nope, nope, not watching this scene." Probably for the best. Nightmare fuel as a 6-year-old, no doubt. But it's great stuff.
I remember that.
I still love Return of the Jedi, no doubt. But yeah, right
Yeah.
now I think A is a good landing spot for it.
Okay. Perfect.
Palpatine has some killer lines in that movie too, like gifs that I use constantly. Like everything is proceeding as I had foreseen, stuff like that. He's got some
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
lines. It was I who revealed the Death Star's location, or like he's mastermind everything. And
Iconic.
you got to give Sidious some props. You know, he falls under the radar under the Darth Vader as the greatest villain in cinema, but Palpatine deserves his flowers. You know, let's not forget that he's the one who orchestrated this from a young aspiring politician
Yeah.
to to where he got to be the man at the end, all the way up until the rise of Skywalker. So longevity for the boy. All right, so yeah, A is good for this. Now down the line, so Tales of the Empire, I have not seen. You watch this, Matt? Where does this fall for you in the pantheon?
Tales of the Empire. It's a great little show. Super, like you can pump this out in a really short afternoon. To me, it's middle of the road. I say we put it. There's a lot of stuff. For now, it's honestly C, Eric.
Oh, okay.
Very middle, but really good. Like I didn't want to put it D, E, or F because there is some cool arcs in there, and there's like 3-episode arcs again. And yeah, I think Tales from the Jedi is better though. So
Okay.
maybe yeah. Honestly, you know what? I'm thinking of everything else. We're switching it up. We're moving it to D.
Okay.
D is not bad. It's just not going to be super memorable like a lot of the other stuff we're going to be talking about. So Tales from the Empire at D.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't even seen the show, but I feel like D is kind of a good spot for it. And again, it's speaking to even Skeleton Crew and E. It's not bad. It's just looking at
Yeah.
what's above it. I feel like
Exactly.
D is a good landing spot for it. I do want to check. Man,
Exactly, yeah.
speaking of which, they just dropped a trailer for Tales of the Underworld or something like that, or the Underground. And it's
Oh.
going to be bounty hunter centric. The so
Ooh.
it's going to be 6 episodes, 3-episode arcs, and we're focusing on our boy Cad Bane, and then Ventress, Asajj Ventress is getting a 3-episode arc.
Nice.
Which very excited. That's actually dropping on May 4th, so in like a month from recording. So I'm very excited for that.
I didn't even know about this show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like it was just announced a few days ago. So right on. Now Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace. Now, this is definitely a controversial one. I'm going to say my piece on it. For me, Phantom Menace, I would put an S. I believe it's my number 3 Star Wars movie, to be honest. My order is Empire, New Hope, Phantom Menace. Now, we're doing this as a team. If you don't see it as S, I completely agree. Like a lot of people they're throwing it an F right away. Like they hate this movie, but
Yeah.
I just cannot ignore the nostalgia, the growing up on this movie, the lightsaber action, and also scarily enough the trade war stuff that they're discussing in this movie that are reflective of the times we live in today. It was George Lucas predicting what would be happening in 2025. I don't know, but he kind of he hit the nail on the head there with the trade embargo going on in the world. So, and then the Duel of the Fates, like the music, the John Williams score,
Yeah.
like there's so much to love out of this. Like pod racing, I'll die on that hill that I don't hate that stuff at all. Darth Maul. So yeah, for me this would be S, but I want to hear what your thoughts on that ranking is, Matt. What you think?
This one's tough too. My heart is all in with you, Eric. S rank. My brain is saying 80% of the movie is S rank, but there's still some stuff that's not perfect, unlike A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back. But Phantom Menace is a movie I would watch when I was homesick from school on VHS. Like, I've watched this movie so many goddamn times. I love it too, Eric. Love it. I love the pod race. I like all the fillers, like the scenes in between the action. Darth Maul, iconic villain, Duel of the Fates, like you said. But can we put our personal feelings aside and really think? Like, I'm thinking of other stuff too.
Okay.
Like, are we putting it above Revenge? Like, I like it personally more than Revenge of the Sith. But, like, if we're looking at it more objectively, I know we have 3 spots to fill for S rank too. And I'm like, if we don't put Phantom S rank, what are we putting above Phantom? Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to like Phantom more than the other stuff we're going to put at S rank. So this is a tough one. I prefer to Revenge of the Sith, so it's like, to me it's S rank, but it's not on the same level as A New Hope and Empire. Does that make sense to you, Eric?
Yeah, I agree. And to be fair here, we're also not doing this for the objective critical thinking.
True.
Right? This is our opinions. Two dudes who just grew up on Phantom Menace and watch it home alone sick. Rainy day, I thought about throwing it on today before the pod.
Right.
Like, I think we put an S just by that logic.
Okay.
Like, I like this movie more than Revenge of the Sith personally, no doubt.
Yeah.
And again, there's for sure people who disagree with that, but it's going in S. Like, it's landing spot right now.
Let's do it.
All right.
I love it.
Again, some people are furious at this, but you know what? We don't do the cookie cutter lists out here. We do what we want. This is our pod, and you're gonna have to just respect it. Now, our next up will be Star Wars: The Bad Batch. So, great show. I think got better with time and multiple seasons, and ended on a bang with season 3 being the best one in my opinion. Really a focused storyline around the cloning that Palpatine was trying to master through our clones, and Omega specifically. I'll just throw it out there right now. I feel like this is like a B show, C at worst. Like, I would start it off in B personally. What do you think, Matt?
I was thinking B or C. Let's throw it into B right now, because the highs are really high. Like, there's emotional depth to it. Great action, and then they move the story along too in the last season where it's tying into like some of the movie stuff. So there are a lot of filler episodes too, like some of these other shows we're going to be talking about. But I'm comfortable putting it in B right now.
Yeah, the filler episodes definitely held it back from being true greatness in terms of some of the animated shows that Star Wars put together. But the highs, like you said, like I'm thinking of the episode The Outpost, I think is the name of the episode, where it's the Crosshairs solo episode, and then he's seeing his brothers get clipped. The snow episode there, that was an incredible episode of television.
Yeah.
So there's a few others that reached those kind of similar highs as well in Bad Batch. So unreal stuff. All right, episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Now, you ask me when I'm 8 years old, this is the best one of them all, but I'm no longer 8 years old. Now, Attack of the Clones, again, I would kind of compare it to Bad Batch in a sense where highs are high, lows are low. We're digging in the sand, making castles out here is how low they are. Like, we're getting in the trenches out here. But unreal action, the Count Dooku stuff I enjoy, the Geonosians, the battles there. Jango Fett, that's probably my favorite scene of the whole movie is the Camino mini arc that we get in there. I love that stuff. My thought, where's your thought on where to rank it right now, Matt? And thoughts on Attack of the Clones?
Okay. You're up. You nailed the head. You nailed it on the head, Eric. Because of the highs, my thoughts is we're going to like B rank right now.
Yeah, agreed.
Like that might be but I love this, but the more I rewatch it, I'm like, there's some pacing issues, acting issues, some wooden dialogue. Like, it's the worst quote unquote worst of the prequels. But man, like there's some like the fight, like the Coliseum fight scene on Geonosis is amazing, and the introduction to the clones, Yoda fighting, like this had us fist pumping in the theater, Eric. Like it was amazing. Django Fett. There's still some cool lines too. It's very memorable still. Very memorable. I'll still be watching this movie until like my deathbed. Like I'm gonna watch the whole prequel trilogy. It's B for me, Eric.
I agree with that completely. I love the movie, but for the same reasons you just said, with rewatch, you kind of start to be a bit more critical, and it's interesting that with Phantom Menace, I'm not having those like, oh, I see what the complaints are from the masses, but with Attack of the Clones, I do see it a bit more, where like the acting, the lines, it is hard to look past at times.
Yeah.
We're talking Daniel Radcliffe in Prisoner of Azkaban. He was their friend-esque caliber acting at times. So, guy had the tweezers on his pocket for the tears there. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with that ranking as well. All right. So
we can always shuffle it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, next up is one that's going to be a bit tricky, where I feel like it's either C or B in my books. Ahsoka. We've only got one season of this show. I really liked Ahsoka, to be honest. I think it was consistent the whole season. There were, not that I recall, any crazy like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this. I think it was just like a 7 out of 10 from start to finish, which is a great thing. Like there were no filler episodes for me. I loved the acting. The Ezra character, I feel like I've already complained about him on here before. Like he was a bit like straight out of a Harold and Kumar movie. He's a bit of a goof, which I get is how he is in Rebels, but it was just weird seeing in live action. A bit of a complaint there. You'd think he'd just be a more wise Jedi after all those years on that random planet he was on. But the action was unreal. I love the Balin Skull character reintroduction or debut of live action Thrawn. Rosario Dawson is unbelievable. And then Hayden Christensen returned to glory in this. So I think C, maybe B, but I'd start off in C. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the other stuff coming up. Honestly, I'm thinking B.
Okay.
But we might have to shuffle it around. It's my beloved Star Wars Rebels characters in this like live action show that I love to see. The lines from Balin Skull and Thrawn but you're right, it didn't really reach any highs of like an S rank or A rank show, right? Like it was very solid throughout, but nothing like 10 out of 10 epic moments.
No.
So you think C, right, Aaron?
Well, I said C. I put it in B right now. Maybe we move it
B.
down with time, but
okay.
Let's
do that.
And even Bad Batch could drop to C as well, right? Like if push comes to shove, I would probably put Ahsoka above Bad Batch personally.
Yeah.
So,
but we'll debate later with the later stuff, and then we can have our debates on what should be where.
Sounds good. So speaking of debates coming up, Revenge of the Sith, which you said for you it had a claim at S. I'm not as high on Revenge of the Sith as a lot of people are. For a lot of people, it's their favorite Star Wars movie. I would kind of loop some of the same issues that Attack of the Clones has in this, specifically in terms of pacing. I feel like it is a tad, but maybe for different reasons. It's a tad rushed. Attack of the Revenge of the Sith in terms of like we're cutting from one scene to the next. We got to get to the point where it all falls off, like shit hits the fan kind of thing. And then it's like the motivation to turn. You knew it was going to happen. Like, it's so obvious that he made. But you know what? People make bad decisions in life in general at times. So, I don't know. I have some problems with Revenge of the Sith, but there's some real big time highs. Like the Mustafar battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin has a claim for best lightsaber fight scene in the entire saga. The Yoda Sidious stuff is really good. I like General Grievous as well. Me personally, I would put this in B, maybe A, but what do you think?
I think it has to go in A. For those like iconic moments, like the Obi-Wan, like Ewan McGregor is amazing in this movie. Even like Hayden's fine now. Like looking back, there's some icon like the Anakin Obi-Wan stuff is some of the peak Star Wars. In any like them in Clone Wars, them in Revenge of the Sith, it's always great stuff. And there's other cool moments like the Order 66 moment, heartbreaking. There's some really like I think this deserves to be Eric for the highs because the highs are like peak Star Wars. I think. Just remember seeing this at the theater. It was like an event going to see this movie. And yes, back in 2005, this would have been S rank. Everyone would have put this at S rank. But looking back now, it's just A rank because of those issues you mentioned, which I 100% agree with, Eric. Very like fast paced, rushed. Biggest fumble of all time by Anakin, like on Padme.
Yeah.
But like Sidious is great in this. The actor who plays, I forget his name, but he's great in this.
Ian McDermott or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. This is A rank for now, Eric. Definitely.
Okay, I agree. I don't have a problem with that ranking at all. All right, now we're gonna go back to the animated realm, Tales of the Jedi, which I quite enjoyed. I think it had a lot of good moments. Only seen it the one time. Can't really recall specifics other than there's a Yaddle episode where she ends up fighting with Count Dooku. That's the one that's jumping to my mind right now. But I remember enjoying a lot of the episodes. They're quick. I love the format of like 15-minute episodes. Animated Star Wars, for the most part, always hits. So I'm thinking like C. We don't have anything in C right now as a spot it could go, or D. Yeah. Like that's what I'd be thinking.
I think it's above Empire, Tales from the Empire, so I'd put it in C.
Okay.
Like the Dooku episodes are great, right? Like I'm just thinking of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do C.
Okay. I also think they did a great job giving us, like you said, the Dooku episodes when he is a like a Jedi. Like I liked seeing that. That was cool.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, C's perfect spot for it right now.
Sounds good. All right, so our next up is now this one. I feel like we can quickly brush over the Clone Wars movie. No, like I watched it back in the day, but don't really have anything to say on it. So I'm thinking like E or F even. But do you have anything on it or?
I remember seeing it at the theater, liking it, but like it's eclipsed by so many things now. I think it should be honestly maybe F. I'm like it's very poor. Let's put it in E. It's like Ahsoka's introduction and like there's some cool fighting, but very weak story actually. I think we put it E for now and we can bump it down. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just doing a rejig of the graphic because now it's all filled up and I have to just edit some stuff. But any other notes on this movie while I just move stuff around?
It's a very clunky movie. I remember rewatching. Like I bought the DVD years ago and I'm like, oh, I remember loving this at the theater. Oh my God, it's eclipsed by the show and so many other things. It is cool to see like Anakin and them all like animated for the first time and seeing Ahsoka. It's a very simple movie, though. It's like a long episode of the Clone Wars, but it's like a mediocre episode.
Okay.
Yeah, E is a good.
Oh, I love the F rating, but I guess I'll bump it up to E. Okay, so next up, we're dwindling down here. And I like that most things are top heavy. I feel like some stuff might have to get bumped down, but so Kenobi up next. Do you want to lead us off on this one, Matt?
Sure. Honestly, this is a show that looking back on, I think I liked it more than I did at the time because I was talking about it with someone at work and like the highs are very high on this show. The Darth Vader stuff, Ewan McGregor's as Obi-Wan is amazing. Yes, there were some issues with some other storylines in it, but like we got a lot of Darth Vader in this show. We had a lot of like cool epic moments at the end. Darth Vader flexing his power is always cool to see. I don't know. I'm looking at it now. I think, but like if should it be in the top half or the bottom half? Honestly, Obi-Wan, because shoot, maybe just C rank, guys. C rank for this one because of the other stuff coming up that eclipses it.
Yeah.
Am I totally off here, Eric? Like, should we be doing B, or what
Oh,
are your thoughts?
no. I'd be going lower personally. Like, I think just because we have like two
Okay.
spots left in the top three, essentially each. Like, there's two spots in S, A, and B.
Yeah,
Now
that's right.
C is wide open. There's four spots. Even Tales of the Jedi could go down, but I remember like when we did our episode on Kenobi, I was definitely ripping Kenobi in terms of like
Yeah,
expectations and the product that they delivered and coming out of it. Did we really learn anything out of this show? Did it give us anything that was like, oh wow, this was interesting to find this out? I
right.
don't think so. But I'm hearing from what you're saying also of like maybe we were too harsh at the time, and then when you look back, like, oh yeah, those two battles, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, were incredible. And they absolutely were. I still remember where I was watching that fight. The final fight in the last episode was unbelievable. But there's a lot of stuff that I personally did not like. Like, I would put this in D myself. We can start it in C, but I feel like as we fill out, even though we're kind of getting close to the end there, C to start, but potential for
Okay.
D in my opinion.
Okay, let's do that. C. Yeah.
Because, and I kind of want to rewatch because I'm hearing from some people that on rewatch it is even better. So maybe knowing the outcome will make us, or me
You're
in
right.
this case, be less critical and not as harsh and appreciate stuff a little more. But there's a lot of cringe stuff in there I found. Like, yeah, yeah. Anyways. All right, so C for Kenobi. Now, we're going into the sequel trilogy now. Episode 7, The Force Awakens. I can
Oh,
start us off here. So, when I watched this movie for the first time in theaters with my family, I absolutely loved it. I was fired up at the first Star Wars movie in theaters since, for me, Attack of the Clones, because I didn't see Revenge of the Sith in theaters. So, 13 years have eclipsed here. I had a smile on my face from the moment the iconic theme song went on, the credit roll. I was fired up. And it was the first Star Wars movie that had true humor for me, I found. I liked the visuals. Like, obviously, 10 years down the line, the graphics are so much better. New, lovable cast to start off with. I was a big fan of Rey, Finn, and Poe. And then I found Harrison Ford was really good as Han back in the role. And in my opinion, this is the only one out of the sequel trilogy that kind of still holds up on subsequent
yeah.
rewatch. It's not as high as I maybe used to see it, but I would put this in B for now, or C, like not lower than that personally. Like, in my opinion, this shouldn't be in the same tier as Kenobi, but I can't put it higher than B. But B is, I would go as high as B. But what are your thoughts on Force Awakens, Matt?
Very similar to yours, Eric. I think it's B rank all the
Okay.
way. Amazing at the theater, and then lost a little bit on rewatch, but still very entertaining, and a great start to a sequel trilogy that should have been so much better, sadly. And I think everyone knows our thoughts on the next two, but like,
Mm-hmm.
this was a good start to the sequel trilogy, and B rank is an appropriate spot.
Yep. Well said. Yeah, it set it up so well where now you also have a cool
Mm-hmm.
villain in Kylo Ren who you're seeing is conflicted. And that was the big thing. It's like, all right, where are we going from here? Luke is introduced in a great cliffhanger, quite literally. The guy was standing a mere inches from the edge of that planet. I forget its name, but yeah, no, that was a great way to end the movie. Easiest check he ever cashed, but yeah, so it's squandered potential this trilogy, but we'll get into those other movies later. So next show, Book of Boba Fett. Kick us off here, Matt.
All right. I'm probably higher than most on this show, but like after thinking about it, it wasn't as good as I have it in my like I just like Boba Fett in general, but like the show had a lot of issues, guys. Like some of the action scenes were cringe, and I have seen the show twice, and yeah, like it's not like it's not as good as I thought it was the first time I watched it. This is very honestly, would I put it above Kenobi or Obi-Wan or Kenobi? Yeah. This is C or D for me, Eric. And honestly, I'm gonna let you decide
Okay.
because after rewatching it, I'm like, yeah, it's nothing like super great. Like it's not on the level of The Mandalorian. So Yeah, what are your thoughts, Eric?
Yeah, I would. So I'm looking at this right now. Like, I simply cannot allow Kenobi to be tiered above Book of Boba Fett. I'm kind of the same line as you. I only watched it the one time, but I do. No, actually, I did watch it twice. I rewatched it, but um, I enjoyed it overall for the same reason you. Like, I like Boba Fett. He's a cool character. Always, I've been a fan, and some of the action was cool. Cad Bane live action, that's a big plus right there. But you're right, like that last episode dragged out for so long.
Yeah.
Though it's essentially a 50-minute fight scene episode where there's not a whole lot of really cool stuff that happens. It's the Rancors fighting those enormous droid decas, and you know what the outcome is gonna be. You got these cyborg brigands, bike gang thugs rolling in the mix here, collaborating with the villagers, and
Yeah.
it's a what are the odds, 1 in a million story here that it pans out, but you know the whole time they're gonna be fine. Even if any of them die, it's like we're not attached to these characters at all. Who cares? I was a big Kersantin fan. One of the what ifs is, are we gonna see that dude again? We'll see. But yeah, all this to say, I would put this in C right now to start, and then maybe some rejigging down the line.
Yeah, maybe we swap it with Kenobi right now.
So,
Because
like-
it was way more enjoyable than Kenobi.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, we
with
put Kenobi at D and we put Boba at C.
Sure,
I
yeah.
think that's the play, honestly.
Yeah, let's just clear up
Okay, let's do that.
some roster spots for
Kenobi
C.
D. Yeah.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
now we're going back to the
perfect.
big screen here. Star Wars story Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So 2016's movie. Got to see this at an advanced screening in London, adjacent Newcastle. But yeah, fell asleep during the movie. It was late. But yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, one that gets better with more viewings. Not S, not A, maybe B, but honestly, I'm thinking C. Maybe that's too
Oh.
low for it, but like it's good. I like Rogue One a lot.
Oh, really?
Okay, so maybe I'm a too low on it still, but like I would B max in my opinion. You're thinking A? Could be A. I don't
I'm
know.
thinking A.
Yeah. Do tell.
I'm thinking A. I remember when I asked you if it was good. I remember like yesterday. I think it was possibly at Zach's hockey game at Navin. I remember
yeah.
sitting in the arena asking you, and you
Yeah.
kind of like you lowered my expectations
Yeah.
on it, which maybe is why I liked it so much at the theater. Maybe that was a good play of you to like bring me back down to earth because my expectations were so high. I love this movie. I think it should be A rank.
Okay.
It's not flawless, okay? It's not like S rank. Like there are a couple like conveniences in the movie and cringy stuff, but like the highs are really good and the pacing, the characters. I think this movie is gonna grow with time too, Eric. It's gonna like the passage of time is gonna help like people like the love for this movie. So I think A rank for now, for sure.
And like I said earlier, like I do enjoy it more with each viewing. I feel like I'm kind of capped off at how high I am on it, but it has gotten better with time. I do think it looks fantastic. Some of the cinematography and the visuals of the worlds we explore in this movie, which I think is one of the big pluses for this movie. It looks amazing. Might be the best looking Star Wars movie of them all in terms of quality and how the shots are framed. Even the planet where Galen Erso, Jin's father, works in that rainy setting, it just looks really cool with the stalactites and the kind of grim dark atmosphere they curated over there. It looks cool. Then you got Cassian with a massive Barrett 50 cal ready to take him out. I think that's a big plus of just how good it looks there, and yeah, it's a good movie. Jin though, not an amazing main character, I will say.
Yeah,
she's all right.
I just think in the last 45 minutes, like to me, that just puts it in A rank just for that. Like it's wicked.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Now this is where it's getting a bit tight though. So, The Mandalorian. Now, seasons 1 and 2, this is like top tier Star Wars content. If we only have 2 seasons of this, no questions asked. Now,
Right.
season 3 didn't even crack my top 10 of 2020. Was it 3 or 4? I think 2023. Yeah, it was 2023.
3.
So that kind of hurts it a bit, but I still love this show, and this show had highs. So we're talking about Ahsoka didn't really have highs. The season 2 finale with Luke coming in hot, mowing down those Death or Dark Troopers. I had a smile on my face the whole time. I think season 2 was arguably better than season 1, where they expanded. It had a set narrative and storyline where they were trying to find another Jedi, led up to that Luke reveal at the end. Unreal stuff. And I think Pedro Pascal does fantastic as Din Djarin. But yeah, season 3 is one that you can't really ignore it. Had too much filler. Didn't really pay off that much. Like, what's the end game here? Is Grogu ever gonna speak?
Yeah.
He kind of looks goofy. I hope he doesn't end up having a Mandalorian helmet. Like, I know we're not there yet, but I don't know. In my mind with this show, I'm past the like, oh, this person knows someone who has the passcode to the lab on another planet. Like, I don't really want to see these kind of little side missions. I want a storyline, a Mandalore heavy plot, which we kind of got in season 3, but got sidetracked a lot. So yeah, those are my thoughts. It's A or B, but there's A or B. What do you think?
I'm thinking B, but then I'm looking at the other stuff we put at B, and it is better than some of that stuff. So we might have to bump something else down later.
Yeah.
But B for now, because of season 3, it would have been A rank if not for that.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Perfect. That one's hard.
Any final notes on Mandalorian? Like, what are you looking for more out of these characters? Because there's gonna be the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which I think comes out next year or in 2027. Like, do you rather have that or season 4? Like, what do you prefer getting?
I prefer getting, honestly, a movie because. No, you know what? A TV show because it's longer in length. What I want for the Mandalorian is no more side quests. Mm-hmm. I want an arc for Din Djarin's story and like him to have a purpose in the Star Wars universe, not to just be a side character with side quests. And he happened to help Grogu, who Grogu maybe becomes a big character, which I can't see happening, honestly. I just want a good story for him, good closure, and him to have a purpose and a good story, a main story arc, and maybe he ties into some of these main characters in the movies somehow. A good, honestly, a purpose and not just like, oh, Mandalorian. If you dismiss it, it doesn't change anything in the Star Wars universe. Like, I want him to have meaning and purpose.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. And if he has to go out in a blaze of glory, if it's to save Grogu or to save like, I don't know, someone else, that'd be
something.
As long as he's not putting his life on the line to save Carson Teva, I'm okay with a sacrificial. Put it out on the line for the squad. So yeah, I think B, and then we might have to drop like Bad Batch is what I would kind of take out of this tier,
right.
But. All right, so now we're going back to the movie. 2017's episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now, for me, actually, you want to start us off, Matt?
Yeah, this movie, every time I rewatch, I've seen it 3 times now, and I won't watch it ever again for a long time. This movie's hugely disappointing on a story aspect, script aspect. I don't know why they didn't follow Force Awakens. I don't know why they decided to go this route. I don't know what the hell Rian Johnson was thinking. I'm still blown away that they didn't have all 3 movies planned out before they even started shooting Force Awakens. Hugely disappointed. Visually, it looks cool. There's some cool action, but oh my God, this movie's a mess in my opinion. Weak characters, decisions that the script that Rian Johnson made on this movie and that they greenlit. I do not understand this movie, Eric. Because of the potential it could have had and what we actually got. This to me is E rank because I'd rather watch like everything we ranked on D, like Tales from Empire and Kenobi over it. I was just hugely disappointed with this movie. It's so much potential. Maybe I'm unjustly hating it, but for me, it's E rank.
Yeah, I agree. If you had said F, I wouldn't have batted an eye there. So I think I completely agree. This is one that this really screwed the sequel trilogy, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it completely undid pretty much all of the setup that episode 7 did with our characters in the direction that we thought they were going to go down. Like, we're thinking a clean Rey gets trained by Luke, who agrees, like, yeah, the First Order is a problem. I had a hand in its rise by being Ben Kenobi, Ben Solo's master and failed him. So I want to make
yeah,
sure that he's kind of taken down, or the order that's kind of brainwashed him is taken down. Nope, I just want to be a hermit and hide on this island and pretend like there are no problems in the world. Like, yeah, that's gonna accomplish a lot, Luke, our presumed hero from the trilogy that we all grew up on. Turn that on its head for what reason? Like, is this supposed to be thought provoking and oh, we're really all missing the point where the hubris of the Jedi is what we've been unjustly praising? I think that's stupid, to be honest. I don't think this is a good message that they tried to push across, which then led to an arguably even worse movie to come out after to undo what this movie was undoing
yeah.
from the previous 7 movies. So just an insane. Like, the more I'm thinking about this, I want to push this down to F. But we'll calm down and move it along. But yeah, this is just an atrocity of a film. Never gonna
Yeah.
watch this again. Like, for me, the rewatch stops at 7. The entire casino storyline led to absolutely
Oh,
nothing. Rose Tico bombing in at 200 kilometers an hour to John Boyega's Finn, who seems to be making an honorable sacrifice, kind of taking out their blaster that was gonna their grog, the Wolf's Head comparable, and then she just comes in out of nowhere, takes him out. Somehow they both survive, acting like she saved the dude's life. Guy was ready to put it out on the line, and anyway, so just a horrible movie, and we don't even really get that much
yeah.
good action in there. Like, the scene with Rey and Kylo kind of teaming up in theaters, that was awesome. That was a sick twist to kill them. My God, what's
Praetorian
his name?
guards.
Yeah,
Oh, Snoke.
Snoke, Supreme Leader Snoke, to kill him. Like, that was a sick twist, and then his Imperial guards, but and then ultimately she just leaves. Like, I would have respected this movie more if Rey joined Kylo and became his evil queen to his king and all that. Like, that would have been cool, but I don't know. I don't really
Yeah,
think this movie
yeah.
knew what it wanted to be, and it screwed the trilogy. So yeah, E for sure, if not F. So. All right, next up. I don't know if you've watched this show, Matt. Star Wars Visions. Have you seen this?
I have not. Have you?
Oh yeah, it's a great show. So I'm gonna say this is like a C tier show, to be honest, because like there's no real reason to not put it there at this point in time. Maybe you could say it's D, but I think these are just cool one-off episodes that have a contained plot and are all presented in different animation styles. Watch the first episode of season 1. It's unreal. One of the best episodes, to be honest. So maybe if you kind of expect that quality for the rest of the show, you may be a bit disappointed. But that's like hand-drawn, real samurai action with lightsabers. It's so sick. And
Oh
they
wow.
really leaned into the Japanese aspect for some of the plots and presentation of the storylines. Really cool. I like how like every episode is unique. It's different. Some weaker episodes for sure, but has some amazing episodes. So yeah, I would put it in C because why not? If we had other stuff to bump it down because of limits, sure. But yeah, I think it's fine in
Okay.
C for now.
Totally forgot about this show, honestly, until you just mentioned it, so it's gonna go on my list to watch.
Yeah, would recommend for sure. Above Skeleton Crew, no doubt.
Okay.
So now our next one would be Star Wars Rebels. What are your thoughts on this one,
Okay.
Matt?
I was waiting for this one. Honestly, I didn't watch it when it came out, but then I binged it after a coworker put me on it. I love Star Wars Rebels. Honestly, There's not much wrong with this show, Eric. It has some really cool Ahsoka scenes and Darth Vader and the era where the in the timeline where Star Wars Rebels takes place. It's a perfect like spot in the Star Wars universe, like on the timeline. It's great characters, Edwa, Kanan, like I don't know. I love these characters. I honestly can't. Controversially, I think this show is S rank. Like it's pretty freaking amazing in my opinion. Now, thinking of the other amazing show, Clone Wars, would I put it above it? I don't know. So maybe Rebels is A at the end of the day. My heart is thinking S though, because like I honestly didn't find a lot of things wrong with the show at all, and Thrawn's great in it. The villains are all great, cool action. Does the anime media make it like not like? Should we have anything animated in S rank? I say, why the hell not? Anyways, what are your thoughts on Rebels, Eric? I'm very curious now.
So we're kind of running down to the wire here, and unless you've mistaken me for a massive Solo head, and I think that this needs to be an S. Like I don't see a reason to not put Rebels in S. To be honest, I think this is also a show that starts off. You're kind of, or I was anyways. You're a little thrown off by the animation style, where it's if you're coming off Clone Wars, which has I don't know, maybe a more familiar look. This looked odd at first, but then you kind of just get accustomed to it. Who are these new characters? Got a guy called Zeb in there. We got Sabine. All these new characters, and you kind of just grow to love this crew of misfits who have come together for a common cause. It's a true underdog story. Shout out Dodgeball, and they just kind of keep getting their skills get better as the seasons go along, as does the quality. Darth Maul gets into the fold. Anytime you have any excuse to throw him in there, you know you're in for a treat. And this had some true highlights in terms of Star Wars content. Now I'm forgetting if this is in Rebels or in no, it's in Clone Wars. Never mind. But yeah, Rebels is unreal. Like I'd put an S. No issues there for sure. Like how it also keeps you guessing too. Like certain characters' motivation. Like there's a character in this show that I forget his name now. The Admiral.
The commander guy.
Yeah, the commander guy. He looks like Prince Charming kind of.
That's right. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. And there's an episode where you kind of like, you learn more about him and you're like, oh, maybe he's not super hateable at the end of the day, right? Like
exactly. And with his character, they kind of did the General Hux storyline in Rise of Skywalker with him. What's his name, though? I gotta look this up, but...
Okay, I'll talk. The peak moment, though, is like the Ahsoka white lightsaber moment. That's peak. Her reunion with Anakin, peak Star Wars. As good as the things in the movies, you know.
Agent Callus is his name. Never would have got that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Again, Kanan Jarrus, unreal character as well. There's they don't pull punches in this show either. They're not afraid to take swings, and there's some emotional moments in there. The Twilight Apprentice episodes are unbelievable. And what this show also did is definitely introduce new lore that was groundbreaking and made you rethink how Star Wars, like, things happen in this world. And it came from the mind of Dave Filoni, who is probably only second to none to George Lucas in terms of Star Wars understanding of the universe. So we're in good hands with this show. And yeah, if you haven't seen Star Wars Rebels and are maybe a bit afraid of the animated genre, by season 2 you'll be clamoring for more. It's such an easy show to binge as well. And like I said, every season just gets better and better, and you'll be kind of sad at the end. So, great show.
Well said, Eric.
Now we're going right back to another animated show that I think has a S written all over it. It's Clone Wars. I think the
Oh yeah.
problem with Clone Wars is that, yeah, it does have some filler episodes and arcs that I wasn't that crazy about. But in terms of highs here, we get some of the best Star Wars content of we ever have seen on the screen in Clone Wars, especially the last season that they brought back after a lengthy period of creative overhaul and just no Star Wars Clone Wars content. Season 7 was unbelievable. Again, anything with Maul from, I think he's back as of season 5 or the end of season 4, and from that point on it's a completely different show. The Mandalorian arcs are all unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
The scene I was thinking of earlier was the Maul and Savage against Palpatine scene is heartbreaking and just unbelievable action as well. So I kind of there's parts of me that want to rewatch certain arcs of Clone Wars because it's just so good, and it wouldn't be time spent in a bad way. Clone Wars is just unreal. You get Anakin character development, seeing him as a leader in the Clone Wars, and how
Exactly.
he kind of dips into the dark side. Like at one point, he's force choking the Geonosian leader, the like that guy. There's a pretty dark scene with those two, and yeah, no, I love Clone Wars. S.
I agree. Yeah, it's S rank for me, 100%. It's my favorite period of Star Wars, like the between Episode 2, Episode 3, the Clone Wars, like mentioned in A New Hope. It's amazing action. You get to see a lot of Obi-Wan and Anakin, two of the best characters in Star Wars. You get to see Anakin's character arc. You know, like from Episode 2 to Episode 3, we get a totally different Anakin, and this helps bridge the gap, honestly. And there's a lot of seasons of this show, but I don't care. I even like the filler episodes. I love that there's a little like philosophical quote or message at the beginning of each episode, and that kind of ties into the story. I love that. I like seeing all the episodes with the clones, like the Clone Commando episodes where you're just following the common foot soldier. Love Rex. Love Ventress. Great character. The last season, Eric, that's like as good as any Star Wars movie. That arc, like with Darth Maul, Ahsoka, like with the Mandalorians, like Ahsoka is phenomenal in the last season. She's great in the whole show. She's funny. There's a lot of like life to this show. You see a lot of stuff on Coruscant with the Senate. You see a lot of bounty hunter action with Cad Bane. You get to meet a whole bunch of other bounty hunters, characters that you end up liking. You get to see all these different races interact. You get to, in terms of world building and lore, Clone Wars is probably the best thing because you get so many episodes and you learn a lot about Lucas's universe. So Clone Wars definitely S rank, 100%.
Nice. Yeah, love that we're on the same page with these two amazing animated shows. So if you're a Star Wars fan out there that hasn't seen these, Rebels is easier to digest just because there's less of it, but Clone Wars, you could watch it all, honestly. And like Matt said, even the fillers, it's still enjoyable Star Wars at the end of the day. But there are some true highs in some of these arcs. And again, it's like 3-4 episode mini arcs at a time. Unreal stuff. And yeah, I just couldn't recommend these last two shows more. They're the best Star Wars shows, no questions asked. I mean, that's why we got them in S, for God's sake. So, all right, we got two more movies to rank. One which kind of touched on quickly, but Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Do you want to kick us off on this?
Yeah, I can't. Again, hugely disappointed with this movie. They tried to fix Episode 8, but in trying to fix Episode 8, created this jumbled mess of poor script writing and rushed storyline, like force feed us Palpatine back, and oh my God, this movie was a mess. I've only seen this twice. I saw this twice at the theater, and I'm like, this is enough. Yeah. I'm not watching this ever again. Just again, how do they sit in this production meeting in a big boardroom and like approve this? Where they like, this is the lesser of evils. This is the best we can do. Let's put it out. Like, come on, guys. This was where they choked. Like, did the deadline approach? And they're like, we got to do something. Okay, we're doing this. Abrams, save us. And no, this is a mess. Do I enjoy it more than Last Jedi? Honestly, I think it's on par with Last Jedi. I think this should be. We maybe just eliminate the F rank and have Acolyte on par with Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Like, it's not good at all. Yeah. Maybe better action than Last Jedi. I mean, I'll leave it to you. I'll pass it to you on that note, Eric. Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like where your head's at in bringing it on the same page as Acolyte, but I'm thinking we put them both in F with Acolyte.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Okay.
So honestly, like Rise of Skywalker, me too. I was bamboozled into seeing this twice in theaters by my own doing. Like, I kind of liked it the first time I saw it, and then the second time I was like, okay, you know what, this wasn't as good as I thought it was. And then the third time at home was like, all right, I am never watching this hunk of trash again. Now, yeah, maybe there's better action in this movie, perhaps, but then when you really break it down, the fight scene with Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren, who we finally got to see, a bunch of lame. I don't even know what their weapons are supposed. Are those things supposed to fend off against a lightsaber? I don't know, but if you really watch those fight scenes, they're kind of just swinging their medieval weapons in midair, while one of them is actually fighting with Ben at this point. And if they're actually somewhat smart soldiers, they'd be doing coordinated attacks, but no, they're just letting one guy go at a time, and it's just really, really poor stuff. Poor at planning on their part. Maybe they're missing their leader. They don't know what to do, but they again, like you said, undoing everything that the last movie tried to introduce was a big mistake. They're kind of doomed from the start.
Yeah.
The Finn character was really reduced to just barking at the screen, yelling "Ray!" like every other 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They're just. I feel so bad for John Boyega. That man deserved much better. Coming off a promising episode 7, charismatic and funny debut, butchered character. Yeah, it's just again, Rey's a Palpatine. Like, who came up with this stuff? Like, what are they?
Yeah.
What were they smoking in that writers' room where they thought like this is gold? This is quite the opposite here. We're talking about lumps of coal out here in terms of quality, but yeah, they're just a blatant slap in the face in Rian Johnson's face with when Rey chucks her lightsaber in the fire, and then Luke catches it somehow. The holograph can catch the lightsaber and goes, "A Jedi's weapon deserves more respect than this." Like, motherfucker, like 2 minutes ago you just chucked yours off a cliff. Like, what are we doing here? It's just no consistency. Horrible movie. And yeah, again, 5 minutes into the movie, we're going to Exegol of all places, made up planet, and I killed Snoke, I'll kill you, my boy. I made Snoke. Like, all right, sounds good. So he's the one pulling the strings all along out of nowhere. Anyways, just how was the Death Star also landing on another planet? Anyways, there's a lot we could get into. We could be here all night. But horrible movie. Can't believe they're doing a trilogy building off of this. But I really hope they redeem Rey Skywalker here and give us something interesting. And I don't even know what that looks like, but this is an F.
Yeah, F, 100%. Yeah.
All right, so our last,
well said, Eric.
our last one here, we got the second kind of anthology movie. Solo, a Star Wars movie, which I'll just say I'm not as hard or harsh on as a lot of people are. I like a lot of this movie in terms of the worlds we go to. They're a bit different. I think Alden Ehrenreich, if I'm butchering the name, I'm sorry if you're listening, my friend, but he did a good job as Solo. It's a tough role to take on coming off the legendary portrayal of Harrison Ford. He did great, and then this is making me think again of Rise of Skywalker. Like, they had to bring in Billy D. Everyone's here, like, he's rallied the troops, and it just pisses me off so much. And then he's trying to find out who the girl's father is. Like, they're insinuating that he's her dad. Like, what are we doing here? It's so bad. But speaking of Lando, Donald Glover, amazing portrayal in this movie as Lando. I thought that Woody Harrelson, I was a big fan of his character and kind of the mentor role that he played for Han. Dryden Voss as a villain, not that strong by what's his face there,
Paul
Bettany. Could do worse though. And this kind of let us off with sign me up for a Solo 2. I want to see Kira be mentored by Maul at the end. Like, that was an unreal ending to the movie. Big cliffhanger as well. So You know what? I would put this in C personally. I don't know what you think about this, Matt, there, but this is where I would rank it.
Yeah, I think it's unjustly hated.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a D, E, or F. I'd put it in C2. I have only seen it once, though.
Oh, okay.
And I thought it was very average. And I was disappointed because I was expecting a freaking A rank, right?
Yeah.
But I did not get that. So, yeah, C is good. And honestly, I think I'll rewatch this in, like, 5 more years. Like, I'll wait, and then I think it's going to age well. Because I was already, like, I think a lot of people were nitpicking with this movie. Yes, we know it's not Harrison Ford, but, like, we can't have Harrison Ford as a prequel solo movie. And yeah, it's a character where people are very protective of Han Solo. So, like, yeah, they unjustly hated it. But yeah, the action was really cool in the movie. I remember really liking the action scenes. Good stuff.
It was. Thandie Newton had a little cup of tea in there. Jon Favreau as well. Emilia Clarke as Kira. Anyways, I feel like there's stuff to like here. The crime syndicates as well. Like, I always like to see a bit more of those areas. So it's just cool that we're gonna get the tales of the underground to flesh that world out a bit more. But yeah, so I mean that's the end of our tiering exercise. So I'm just gonna do a rundown of where everything's at. See if we want to do any revisions. S tier, we got A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Phantom Menace, Rebels, and Clone Wars. A tier, we got Andor, Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One. B tier, we got Bad Batch, Attack of the Clones, Ahsoka, Force Awakens, Mandalorian. C tier, Tales of the Jedi, Book of Boba Fett, Star Wars Visions, big sleeper pick there, Solo, A Star Wars Story. D, Tales of the Empire, Kenobi. E, Skeleton Crew, the Clone Wars movie. F, The Acolyte, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker.
I think that's a pretty good rating, Eric.
Yeah, like I have no notes.
I'm thinking of bumping. Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Bumping something up would be like, but is it better than all those shows that we have on that level or movies?
Yeah.
No. Like there's a missing A rank, right? Like,
Yeah.
we could have another A rank, but I don't think we can bump anything B into A because the other A's are so strong. That's just my thoughts quickly.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm looking at the one that could be higher is, I'm thinking Mandalorian if there are only 2 seasons. Like, I think I can't look past that 3rd season, which maybe you're listening like, yo, it wasn't that bad. You got to chill. It belongs in A. I don't know. Like, I have a hard time ignoring that 3rd season. I'm not going to lie. The Jack Black episode has done irreversible psychological damage on me. So, you know what? I think B is where it's at right now. Maybe the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will be in that A spot. That's what's missing in there. And I think this was good. I have nothing to change, to be honest. So.
Yeah, my only other thought was Attack of the Clones in A.
Yeah.
But that's just me, like, my 10-year-old self thinking that. But, like, dude, there's some weak ass parts in that movie. So it's staying where it is.
I agree. Attack of the Clones, like, my 8-year-old self is just like screaming at me through the bookshelf, like, no, Murph. But yeah, all right, good stuff. So no, that was fun. It's been really fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to like I said, Tales of the Underground. I think that'll be the last Star Wars content of the year, unless I'm forgetting something. But looking again with the next wave of movies, I want them to really take their time, flesh out the plot. Get your directors lined up. Get everyone on the same page, please, and just deliver. It's not that hard. People love Star Wars.
You keep it simple, like it's not freaking rocket science. It's good versus evil, hero versus villain, but like have that all flesh. Like I'm just gonna repeat what you said, but exactly what you said, Eric. Exactly what you said.
Yeah. So what am I talking about? The next thing Star Wars related is Andor Season 2 dropping in like a week, which is where this idea came from. Yeah. So that's actually our next thing.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for the future of Star Wars. It's they're due for a big win, and I think Andor Season 2 is going to be that, and then the next animated show. I want them to keep exploring animated shows as well. Like I don't really know what I'd want to see there, like new characters, or keep plugging stuff in between the like either the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, or between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. I think that's where they've been focusing a bit more, kind of to bridge the gap between 6 and 7. I'd be fine to see more stuff there. Yeah, so we'll see what they do.
Yeah, me too. I think Star Wars is way more consistent than, like, let's say the MCU stuff. Like, we've had a bit of lows, but, like, it's been overall it's been very solid, like, universe. I find it way more enjoyable than any Marvel stuff in the last few years. So it's still strong. Star Wars is still strong. It's my favorite franchise or universe of all time. I always flip-flop between that and Lord of the Rings, but Star Wars is so much more available in content. There's so much out there, so can't wait for the future.
Yeah, like you could go back and watch our we did this tiering exercise on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast for Marvel a few years ago, and just looking at this tiering list right now of content that's come out post Disney acquisition, we're looking at Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Bad Batch, Andor, and I'm just talking about shows right now. Andor and the 7th season of Clone Wars. Those are 5 things that you could say are objectively very good TV shows. S tier and A tier for some. Where you look at what Marvel's done post Disney acquisition in the Disney Plus era specifically, you can't really say that about many of the products that they've delivered. So yeah, the MCU is definitely trending down, has been on a downward slide, whereas Star Wars, where they don't drop as much, has had a better track record overall. Acolyte and perhaps Skeleton Crew aside, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, well said, Eric.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's it for Star Wars. Very excited for Andor Season 2. I do think they're going to deliver 3 years in between seasons. I'm sure they took their time, curated some good stories for us, and yeah, I'm just hoping that quality remains the same. And the dialogue was a big thing in Andor that separated it from the Luthen monologue. Who can forget? That dude was speaking to our souls and putting it all on the screen there. So looking forward to seeing him again in action. He's a character I feel like I'm gonna call right now. I think Luthen dead by episode 8. That's my call for the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
So yeah, anything you want to recommend to the people, Matt? You've been
I've been not a lot of movie watching, but a lot of TV show watching. So I finally watched the show White Lotus.
Oh, nice. Okay, let's go.
I'm crushed season 1 and season 2. I got episode 7 and 8 to watch for season 3. I think episode 8 might be coming out tomorrow night, or it came out last week. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Season 1 and 2, I really enjoyed this show. I thought season 2 is better than season 1. Nice. Season 3 is really good so far, in my opinion. I think I should stop talking about it. I think I'd like to do an episode on it if you're cool with that, Eric.
Yeah.
Discuss all that down the road or soon. I don't know, whatever your thoughts are, whatever you wish. Really a strong recommend to everybody. Not what I thought when I started it, but like it's funny and dark at the same time. Heavy themes, but also like I'm laughing my ass off at some stuff. Mm-hmm. So the White Lotus, big recommend.
Yeah, I'm down to do a White Lotus episode. I feel like our next one, if everything goes according to plan and we make the playoffs, we can do a playoff preview episode with Zach, and then
That's right.
White Lotus after that. So that'd be episode 157. Okay. Everyone catch up on White Lotus by then. Maybe, yeah, I'm excited so I'm a few episodes ahead of you still, so I'm not going to say what I think is going to happen in the finale. I do have some theories. I sniped a couple of things that have happened this season, which I'm happy about. But season 3, I'm down to talk about it at length in an episode for sure. But I'm glad you watched it, and yeah, it's definitely not what you really expect, and it's a hard show to describe, but it's an interesting one for sure.
It's very hard to describe, honestly. Yeah. Anyways.
All right, good stuff. So me too. I've been mostly in the showbiz these days, like Daredevil still going strong, White Lotus.
Yep.
Those have been the ones kind of keeping my attention. I'll just see if there's another show I can talk about. Yeah, I started this show on Apple TV called Dope Thief. It's starring Brian Tyree Henry, and I don't know the guy's name, but he's the main actor in Civil War, the guy who like drives cross country there with all of our other characters. So it's basically about these guys who pretend to be DEA agents or FBI agents, and they bust up these like drug houses, but then just steal their product and then sell it or pocket. They steal the money from them, and that's kind of it. But so the first episode kind of ends with them busting up the wrong spot where there's actually an undercover agent working there, and they kind of get tangled up in this mess, this web that they never thought would have been possible. And like, I'm a Brian Tyree Henry guy, so seeing him in a main role like that is good. I find he's a very funny actor, charismatic guy. He's been leading this show pretty well. There's another show on Apple TV that I haven't started yet, but I want to watch. It's called The Studio, starring Seth Rogen. Yes. I'm hearing great things about this show. So if you have Apple TV and you're looking for a new show, I'd say The Studio. Like, I'd prioritize that because it's getting better ratings than Dope Thief. I'm liking Dope Thief, but I think The Studio is my blind recommendation, and hopefully can talk about it at length later on in the year.
I think we will, because it's a show I want to start too.
Okay, nice.
And even Mackenzie wants to watch it, so we'll watch it together. And I think I'll like it a lot more. I mean, it's my thing. So, yeah. I've been watching also. Okay, so I finished Reacher season 3 on Amazon Prime. Super cheesy but fun action and comfort. It's a comfort show. Okay, it's like a couple of drinks turn your brain off. I also watched the series on Netflix, The Residence. It's like an homage to all those like Agatha Christie novels and Knives Out movies. There's a murder at the White House. Detective comes in to solve it. The show could have been maybe chopped in half for length purposes, but like it's a cool reveal at the end, and it's a cool like sleuthy whodunit. Yeah. Anyways, that's The Residence on Netflix. Also on Netflix, Adolescence. I don't even know if I talked about this last episode, but it was very solid.
Okay.
4 episodes long. It's a British miniseries. It's great. Stephen Graham, a.k.a. Al Capone from Boardwalk Empire, phenomenal actor. He's great in this show. It's a crime show. It's really good. Not what you think though. Like it expands on the stereotypes of like the crime genre. It goes beyond what you think's gonna happen. Anyways, Adolescence. That's a big recommend, Eric. You should check that out. It's pretty heavy.
So I was literally gonna recommend it to you in that I've only heard really good things about the show. Obviously, I still don't have Netflix right now, but that's one that when we get Netflix again is gonna be at the top of the list because I'm hearing praise for Stephen Graham. Is it? I didn't really know his name before this show, and I didn't really see him as like this incredible actor. Really, I saw him as Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire. He was in The Irishman as well. I feel like he pops up in these little kind of similar mob ties role. Like he nails that persona, but I guess he's an actor that has a lot of range as well, and people are praising him as this unbelievable actor. So gotta check this out. Adolescence. I recommend as well, having not even seen it, but just what I'm hearing is good stuff only. Right on. Glad to hear that you watched it and liked it.
Yeah.
So
Steven is like England's. Sorry, just I have to praise the man. He's like England's secret. Like the British know how great he is, but he's not really well known outside of England. But he's as good as any best actor in America, Eric. And I've watched some of his British catalog, and he's as good as like freaking peak.
Okay.
He's amazing.
Okay, right on.
Anyways, more on that. I'm going to stop talking about it. We've been going on a while now. Nice. I want you to do your next recommend.
Yeah, so I've got 2 things to recommend. One is like just an easy habit that you can incorporate, and it's like we've talked about this on the pod before, but I want to get a little more specific here. Something I've started to do for the last few weeks at least is after every meal, and I'm trying to limit myself to 3 meals a day these days. After every meal, go for like a minimum 10-minute walk, even maximum 10-minute walk. I feel like I've been doing this just around the block, not long after you eat. This will lower your blood glucose level as well, and it helps with your digestion a little more, where if you're just going, like if you're lying down after you eat, we all know that's not good. Like, you're not supposed to go to bed after you eat. That's not good for your digestion. But the act of moving around, like just for 10 minutes, also gets you outside, get some vitamin D, throw a podcast on or whatever. For me, it's been a nice little cool down period after I eat, get some thoughts in my head also, and you feel good about yourself, like knowing that, okay, I just ate, that was great, but now I'm being active, helping my mobility out. It's an easy thing to incorporate, and even if like today's a rainy day, you can just walk in your house as well. Like we have a cat, so I just grab like a little fishing rod that we have. I hold it behind me. She chases me as I walk. It's like up and down a few times. It doesn't have to be for 10 minutes there, but it's an easy little habit you can incorporate. And I've come to look forward to those walks, even if like a little walk around the block after I eat. It's a little easy thing to incorporate in there. So that's my recommendation. Walk after you eat.
That's a great recommendation. I don't do that, but why shouldn't I? Like, that's awesome. Yeah.
Did you have anything else you want to recommend, or?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. So I finally got my hands on this puppy after a year on the wait list at the library. I got Sapiens up in here. So I'm just like 50, 60 pages in. It's a heavy, 60 pages. It's heavy for sure, but I'm finding it pretty interesting to learn about like the Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and all that, like how we used to behave as a society, the habits that we had back then, and how we've kind of lost some of our abilities along the way, how our physiology has changed. It's cool to see, and I know you've read this, Matt, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's a classic book, right? It's a brief history of humankind, so it basically documents our history from like the days of like 300,000 years ago, that when we were nothing but mere chimps. So it's I'm finding it interesting. So Sapiens. I feel like a must read. It's a classic book. And you have any thoughts on Sapiens?
Yeah, it wasn't like the easiest read for me, but I'm super glad I read it. I learned so much. You learn a lot from this book. It's not always like the super fun, fast-paced read, Eric, but like the destination's worth the journey. Like it's worth trekking through it. There's a lot of good ideas in there. Makes you think about things. Some ideas that I still remember, and like you get smarter reading the book, right? You acquire a lot of knowledge, so it's a must read.
Yeah, definitely. We're hunting and foraging a lot right now, and it's fun to acquire those skills as I'm moving through the landscape. But yeah, that's all I would recommend at this time there. Walk and read, folks. But
nothing wrong with those two. Yeah.
So a lot of fun, Matt. Nice to get back into the Star Wars genre. I'm kind of wanting to rewatch some of these movies now, and maybe throw on a few Clone Wars episodes. So a lot of fun, Matt. Any final notes for the listeners?
Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed our Star Wars talk. I hope you agree with us or disagree. Let us know. And thank you for listening every week or every episode. And hope you're having a great spring right now. I'm very excited for the warmer weather.
Absolutely. And before I just remember, shout out to the homies Chevy and Jeff. They both submitted Revenge of the Sith as S tier for them. Z tier in Jeff's words, but we're going even across the big Revenge of the Sith guys. So just thanks for the submission, fellas, and appreciate it. So thanks a lot, everybody, for listening. Stay tuned for episodes dropping every 2 Mondays. Continue to enjoy the spring golf seasons right around the corner, and peace.